I think I know what this is. You see, Stan, as you get older, things that you used to like start looking and sounding like shit. And things that seemed shitty as a child don't seem as shitty. With you, somehow the wires have gotten crossed and everything looks and sounds like shit to you. It's a condition called being a cynical asshole.
Oh no.
Yes. And there's no known cure, I'm afraid. Everything just seems shitty and everyone starts to seem shitty and everything they say just starts...
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Yes, Mr. Sherman, everything stinks.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
All we are is dust in the wind, dude. Dust. Wind. Dude.
Bullshit, Mr. Handman.
Don't you understand, Steven? Somebody has to kill the babysitter.
I'm too old for this shit.
Mockery.
Oh, Master! I do not trust you! I cannot trust you or anyone ever again! Aim for the cat, dude! Aim for the cat! I'm trying, Evil Ted! I'm trying! Ah, just missed!
Desperate. Your turn.
Desperate,
Desperate.
desperate,
Desperate.
desperate.
You hate to do it, but at the same time, it's hilarious.
Hello and good evening, everyone. This is once again Saturday Night Sith. I am your host, The Fractured Filter, along with, as always, my co-host, Jay Hitman. How are you tonight, sir?
Dude, so pumped. Let's go. Ready to go.
Ready to go. We got
This Bad Batch season 1. It's felt, I can't remember. It feels like we started this like 5 years ago, man.
It almost does, but it's just probably because of the fact that we took a break to watch Ander.
And Ander felt like
Ander
it was,
sucked the life out of us
Yeah.
a little bit, just a little bit. Not as bad as Kenobi, but it did its job.
I sent you some stuff before the show on Instagram. I don't know if you got it, but it was an interview with Ewan McGregor, and he was saying that how it was such a success because he said it was much liked and hugely watched, and he hopes that they'll do season 2, and that he hasn't been approached, but he would totally be down, which I think is him saying that he was approached, but he just can't tell.
He just can't say anything.
Yeah, but I thought it was funny. He's like, I sat there and I thought, much liked and hugely watched, and this if something is hugely watched, which I don't know if that's grammatically correct, but he is Scottish, so it's fine.
He was on the spot.
Does it make it a success? Because like this thing was watched, but I don't know. Like I hear Tim from Open, like he talks a lot about like how, and I think even Tuscan Bob has mentioned it, but how we think there's more of us than them, but maybe there's more of them than us, whatever it is. But like just to get something like hugely watched does not mean it's a success. Like I watched it, but
no, it doesn't. No, it's that does not automatically increase the quote unquote quality of what the show is. It just meant there was a lot of eyes on it just because it was either a train wreck or it was actually something good, or it's a known IP that no matter what will gain attention. And that's kind of what Star Wars is. Star Wars is one of those things that'll still, even as piss poor as it's been, will still gain a bit of traction. And this is a problem. This is one big problem, is that it's always whenever we've had a lot of these numbers and stuff like that, they haven't always been it's been always really tough. Yeah, it's been tough to verify it. And now, especially with streaming, they can make up any gosh darn numbers they want. unless certain streaming services do give out better information than others. But it's like it's a crapshoot. You don't know. You just don't know. You can only just kind of just take them at their word and go, okay, we'll try and factor this out.
One thing that I wanted to, I know there's a couple stuff we want to go over. I mean, I'm assuming that wrapping up Bad Batch is not going to take that long. I will fully admit that just due to the busyness of work, I was not able to get through the last couple episodes. I did watch the next two, but I still have a good memory and how this thing ended. But
right.
One thing I think we talked about it when we had Raging and Bob and Script on, but so. And I know we had talked about a couple episodes ago about how Disney Plus was going to go to a ad,
right?
An ad, whatever. But I'm sitting, and Bob said something interesting, like Netflix tanked. Netflix lost like how many was it? Billions of dollars in a night. So I had heard that it was like $1 billion.
They've been doing a lot of weird stuff. But there
was one night where it lost like $1 billion or something like that. Like I'd have to go back and look at the number, but I knew it was some astronomical number. And then some guy at work came and well, you're stupid. There's no way they could have lost $1 billion. Not even 1 billion people on the planet. I'm like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot if you think somebody could not lose $1 billion. And
considering it's not like it's $1 to sign up. For Netflix, it's more than that. So yes, they've been buying stuff up. They've been putting. The business. So they're always spending money in some way or another. It's so it's more than likely that they are more than capable of losing $1 billion. There's been plenty of companies that have done that.
Know that I'm not the smartest man when it comes to figuring all this stuff out, but whatnot. But so if you go the ad route, does that mean that you're tanking and you need these companies to pay you to advertise on your platform?
Yes, you are needing help from the other companies in order to partly stay afloat.
Is Disney Plus? Are they tank like it? I sound stupid asking this question because I know that Disney's probably not been very profitable with. I mean, listen, when Disney Plus first came out, they
had a lot of problems.
I don't know if I signed up with it when it was $4.99 a month, and that's if you did it within the first, like when they first launched it, and they undercut Netflix. Netflix at the time was I think $7.99, so they undercut
sounds about right.
Netflix by $3, right?
Yeah, and then they had the allure of things like having acquired Fox.
Hulu. I don't know if that came after ESPN and Hulu. I don't know if that came after that bundle.
They've kept those platforms separate though. That's the thing. Like they've kept things from Hulu on Hulu that are staying with Hulu and not on Disney Plus. Like Disney, other than Andor that they did put on Hulu, but they've otherwise tried to keep things very separated for certain programming. Because they want to still maintain that family friendly experience.
Time out. Hold on. Don't mean to interrupt. Am I reading this right? Remember to smash the like button harder than the smash mark. How dare you talk to my ex-wife like that?
I'm just laughing that you finally just noticed that. I've been putting that up on some of our shows.
I can't believe you would. How dare that's like your ex-wife?
Hell yeah.
I'm liking it right now. I'm hitting the like button. No, I just noticed that. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I got things set up. Set up, brother.
Well played, man. No, but yeah. So back to this. So like, I think maybe at the time, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand. Like I hate ads. Like Pandora. Back when Pandora was the thing. Pandora did it, and I never did. Like I listened to Pandora for as many. I would download it until I used up my free skips, and then I would delete it. And then I just hated ad. That's why I don't do Hulu. There's nothing on Hulu that would.
To me it was just like, okay, so you're just cable TV basically.
But I love to look at their books because I don't understand. Like, and I know Disneyland is, and the Disney parks are different than Marvel Studios and Disney Plus and all that. But
Yeah.
the company is still making money. So like when you're charging,
oh yeah, they're still
it's just mind-boggling when I go to Disney, and someone can make the argument like, well, Jay Hitman, you're talking about, you know, overhead at a park and what the parks are separate, but I'm saying the company still is making money. Disney as a whole is making money. So when you charge $5.75 for a churro that costs you 37 cents to make, and you're charging $150 for a ticket 10 years ago that was $50, like it.
Yeah,
and I know
I've heard that they've like jacked up the price to get into their parks.
It's very hard for me to believe that they're not profitable. Maybe they're not, like COVID, you know, whatever. But like with the streaming platform though, like, are they like them going to add? You could make the argument that like they're hurting because, you know, and the whole like, you know, won't go broke. Like there's a lot of stuff that like I don't watch on Disney Plus because it goes against what I believe and stuff. But
wow, I mean, Disney as a company goes against what you believe too. But
yes, but it's just very interesting. And so like are they kind of showing their hand, like for them to announce like we will give you the option to pay $10 extra a month to bypass the ads, but that's them. Unless I'm wrong, is that them showing their hand? Like, hey, like we're not doing well, so we have to basically call in the that's marketing strategy and the ad, you know, use the ad revenue to.
Well, and I've heard some other people talk about this, like some of the guys like Nerderotic and stuff on Friday Night Tyson. They've talked about this a lot, and it's like,
do they?
What they've talked about in terms of like the streaming is that it hit a boom, and the whole COVID thing was kind of in that bubble for the boom, and now we're since we started basically exiting all of that, they're now starting to feel the effects because nobody's home all the time watching streaming and stuff like that and paying for their subscriptions, and also now thanks.
When did Disney Plus? It was before COVID. I know that was like it
was a little bit short of it, because it was like Mandalorian had come out season 1.
I wonder if Disney knew COVID was going to be a thing.
That's kind of something funny that my brother and I have kind of talked about. Is that you remember how when they got rid of the Papa John himself?
Yeah,
and he kind of came out with this video or this little interview, and he talks about there's going to be a reckoning coming.
Yeah,
and my brother and I have theorized he might have been talking about the whole Coof situation.
Yeah,
because it was like possible that like a lot of the companies had already kind of gotten the lowdown,
like Papa John from Papa John.
the guy that was then he got ousted.
Yeah,
and during one of these interviews, like he just kind of he was saying how there's a reckoning coming, and my brother and I have jokingly theorized it might have been the whole COVID stuff that maybe a lot of these big corporations had kind of gotten a heads up about, so they could, because I mean, think about it, a lot of stuff rolled out really fast for these companies to start enforcing onto their workers and stuff like that. It was fast, so it certainly made our conspiracy theory brains kind of go.
We don't talk a lot about politics on our show, but you know what? Darn it, it's our show. We can talk about what we want. So, like, I think people knew. I think they knew COVID was going to happen, and it was a test to see how willing the masses were how many sheep they were versus wolves. I think it's a gateway to a lot of things that are to come. That's just my personal opinion and belief. And if you don't like it, you can go
suck apart.
Stop by somebody else's podcast. But yeah, it's just very interesting because it was huge because COVID, it was like, what I do.
Well, and Disney's been laying off employees, their cast members and stuff like that. They've been
and then refusing to get vaccinated. They like, if you
don't
do that. Yeah. What was it? Was it 30 days to stop the spread, or 3 days?
Right. 3 days, and then it just escalated and escalated and escalated.
And it's just, I remember just SpongeBob, a cutscene 30 years later.
Yeah.
You know, but
that's kind of what we got to.
Lockdowns, and my goodness, like, you know, everybody turned into freaking what is it? Totalitarian. Everybody, you know, lockdowns and everything.
Yeah.
I wonder
a little what the Empire has shown.
If old Bob Iger, you know, because Disney Plus was his baby, I wonder if he knew, you know, got an email from or a call from whoever China had been Zing Zong, whatever his name is, that this is going to happen, and he said, "Hey, this is going to happen. We're going to release this thing. We're going to give you an influx of our money."
Well, except there's been a problem with that, because China has been very much keeping a lot of Marvel shit out as of late.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Even if Disney was playing ball with them, they still aren't friends.
You know, Bob Iger's part Chinese. I don't know. You didn't do that. I'm trying to do one fact a day for everybody. So, fact of the day, Saturday, December. What is it?
I was unaware of that.
What is today's date? December 18th. Bob Iger is part Chinese. If you didn't know that, so it was actually and another fun fact too. So is Hunter Biden. If you didn't know that either,
he certainly had enough Chinese. Yeah,
and his dad's part Russian. So. Yeah, I just, you know, you talk about conspiracy theories. I just think it's very interesting that this came out right before COVID, and it must. I mean, and they would have had to have like, you know, I just want to talk about this real quick. So it's like, hey, we're going to release this thing, and then we're going to keep everybody inside. We're going to test the waters to see how totalitarian we can get, and we're going to lock people inside.
Before we're going to kind of push back.
So this would be a perfect opportunity for you to take out Netflix. Or this would be a perfect opportunity for you to take out some of the other streaming platforms, or start your own. Bob Iger's
Bob Iger. Well, it was certainly an opportunity to get in on the streaming, this whole streaming service thing.
I just envisioned Bob Iger doing Sheev's smile at Anakin, and like, you know. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. Could be conspiracy. I didn't even think about that.
You know, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah,
you know, right before, but like, how profitable would you be? Because if you care about people, stay 30 feet away. Stay inside. Don't work. If you care about people, you love people, just stay home. And then Disney's like, well, we're gonna play the card like we've got to be the good guys. So we're gonna create this streaming service, and we're gonna charge $4.99. We're gonna undercut Netflix, because that's what you do. To get subscribers, you gotta, you know, spend a little money to make a little money, right? So we're gonna undercut Netflix, and everybody loves Disney. There's not a single person on this planet who, you know.
Well, that's the thing right there, and that's where it kind of goes into like what you mentioned earlier, how there's more of them than there are of us, sort of thing. I think that's what it just boils down to. I don't think it's necessarily like a divided line sort of thing. But
I think it's
an institution.
It's been a reconditioning.
It's a generational thing, and it's just been like
this has been happening over a lot. I mean, this is
I should say cultural thing too.
Yeah,
because look at how there are the Disney princesses, all the little girls that grew up watching all these movies, and you know, all that sort of stuff. So they've just had that a lot of us kids that were born in the 80s, grew up during the 90s, had a lot of prime stuff coming out of Disney at the time.
Here in the next 20, 30 years, they're not going to have to worry about it, because we're all going to be dead.
Wow.
This maybe that's a stretch, not our generation, but like, they are weeding out the last generations that.
Well, they're trying to make way for the current generation that's growing up with all this stuff.
Yes, so. the generation that considers 7, 8, and 9, or 7, 8, 9, the original trilogy. No, I think it's been a slow, systematic attack on culture, ideology, how you think. I mean, recondition the masses. My goodness, like this show that we're watching, like it is. Everybody loves Bad Batch, but everybody fails to miss the fact that like this girl, who is a female, they say that she is a clone of Jango Fett, who was a male.
Right.
Like, so it's like this is it's a fun show about the Bad Batch, these clones that are have special abilities and are unaltered and blah blah blah, all this and that, and then Omega, who is actually girl who looks like a girl and sounds like a girl, and we haven't really seen the lady parts in this show, but maybe we will in Bad Batch 2 because hey, what I'm just saying, like it is clear that she is a girl.
Well, and that's actually kind of the funny thing. So in relation to Bad Batch, I just finished the like last few episodes, and I just said finally got through the last episodes of Bad Batch season 1. It's definitely better than their other crap, but that's not a high bar. And Furry Loney kneels hard on nostalgia bait. But I see that I see they are definitely setting up a certain something. I said, sorry, J Hitman, it's coming.
I saw it.
I think I know. I think what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But then like Stig came in and said they ripped off he ripped off the Null Squadron story from Republic Commando, written by Karen Traviss, who quit Lucasfilm back in the day after Filoni destroyed her books. And I said, oh, I am well aware. And I said we brought that up during our start of going through these shows or going through these episodes, reviewing the episodes. And like I said, I just speak from the Mouse's Library products thus far.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't including the EU when I was referencing, it's the best of their stuff so far. And I said, but yeah, I know too well the show is just a pale imitation of true canon. So I was definitely on the, I was like, yeah, believe me, dude, I know. But it's just funny,
Yeah. So I think it's
and that's kind of the thing too. That was another thing that and kind of talking about this, and this was something that I grabbed from OG Star Wars that I wanted to present to you. I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, but she brought this up. I think it's a valid question to kind of rattle the noggin sometimes. So like she said, are we now at a point of complaining about anything and everything, becoming what the bots/trolls accuse us of, especially when it comes to female leads or direction female characters are taken? And it's like I said, it's an interesting little question. I disagree. Well, I don't think we are, because I don't think we're complaining for the sake of complaining.
No, there's a difference between complaining for this. I love Laura. I love her to death. Love her content. I follow her a lot. I don't. You can make the argument.
Well, it's just kind of posing the question.
For sure, she's posing the question. You can go either way, right? If you're on the north side of the coin, you could say, yeah, we're complaining about everything, and from the south side of the coin, you could say, no, we are bringing grievances to certain things that the other side's doing that doesn't fall in line with what canon says or canon or what George would have.
Well, and this is the thing, like I kind of gave a bit of an answer. I was like, but some of my answer, no, I don't believe so. At least myself, I will give kudos, but back the complaints, what was once good, what we had, especially comes to great characters before. So it's like I'll say they've done some positive things here or there, but it's like we will compare and contrast.
Yeah.
We have a library of work that we can look to and go, hey, these are the characters that we had. And I hate doing the whole female male characters that we had best. I just look at characters. And we've had nothing but great characters prior to what Disney has been bringing us and shoving down everyone's throats of what they need to accept as quote unquote great characters. They aren't it. They just don't live up to.
This isn't an issue. Yeah. My issue and grievance with the part of Bad Batch that I've been bringing up isn't the fact that they put a female character in it. My grievance and concern.
Well, it's like the logistics of it. It's like you're putting in a female character who shouldn't technically exist without being like, can't be considered an actual clone.
No, so a kid who watches this is if they're smart enough or old enough to know that Django, if they know the difference between a boy and girl, and they know that mommy has to go to dinner with daddy, and when they come back, then they have a little brother. Like if they understand like how a baby's made and all that, like they watch the show and there's the potential for them to be like, well, hold on a minute. If Django's a guy and Omega's supposed to be a replica of Django, how is she a girl? Does that mean I can be a boy now? Does that mean
I think you're onto something there.
It's just this
now that you're bringing that up, you I think you've stepped on something there.
It is a gross, perverted reconditioning of how children think.
It is.
And again,
and the funny thing is,
but if
people don't want to admit this has been going on since the 90s.
But if you listen to what I just said, now I'm a racist, I'm a bigot, and I'm not inclusive, and I'm not about equality.
Oh yeah, brother.
Oh yeah. Who the thing? Yeah, you ain't gonna steal my thunder. Like, but like no, like that does not mean I'm racist. It does not mean I'm a bigot. That does not mean I'm not for equality. It means I am rational, and I bring something to the table that doesn't make any sense. And you're like, and now you're messing with kids who are easily influenced. So who's at fault here? Is it me for going against what you like, calling you out on something that you're doing that's not right, or should you, or is the issue you because you were taking advantage of how children think? Who's perverted here, me or you?
I can answer that.
Well, you know me better than most, so like you shut your mouth. No, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, like who's the perverted one, me or you? Now, the way that the culture is today in society, like I will be called the perverted one and the racist and the bigot because of my beliefs and what I stand for. But at the end of the day, like I don't answer to anybody other than one person. So, but yeah, that's my issue. And
right.
Somebody who finds out, Jamie, do you have and maybe I need to cancel my Disney Plus. You know, I have it to watch some of these shows. I do have it because obviously I love Star Wars. I could just buy the movies and keep them on my phone, but I do have Disney Plus. So maybe it will come to a point in time where if it's kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. At one point in time, do I cut the time? I don't even know how you watch it. This is a kid's show, and we follow the laws here, so I don't know how you watch the stuff that you watch, but I watch what I watch because I have Disney Plus.
Pathway is to consuming media some would think
unnatural. So
that's all I'm saying. Hey there, Emperor Doomsday. Welcome to the chat.
Oh, hey, welcome.
Bites. And he says, still don't know how to quite feel about Bad Batch.
Bad.
It's a see, this is the thing. It's a competent show. And the funny thing is, though, out of the whole thing, the one character that I feel like is a character is Crosshair. That's actually gone through some shit. Because I just feel like all the other characters are static. Like they're kind of at that point. Maybe Omega, she kind of been kind of
who?
They, them.
Yeah.
Has been going through a degree of development here or there, but it's like otherwise it just thank you. It just feels like they're just kind of static. They're already in a place that they're other than they're just trying to take. It's like 3 men and a little baby, basically.
What's that one? What was that movie with Tom Hanks? Tom Hanks is the not babysitter, but it was with Tom Hanks. They had a kid. It was like 3 of them. I can't remember.
Well, I was gonna say 3 men and a little baby. There's 3 men and a little lady, which was Tom Selleck, Ted Danson, and I forgot the third guy's name now.
Can't remember.
But yeah, but they suddenly get saddled with a baby, and
I remember.
Yeah. So that's basically kind of the situation with the Bad Batch. But at the same time, they got so comfortable and already like, okay, we're going. It's like a first few episodes, there's like a little bit of tension of them trying to work things out, but otherwise it's like they're kind of working as a unit, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's been about it. Otherwise, you kind of got then Crosshair, who is somebody that was he in these last few episodes too was feeling this kind of the way it got portrayed, or at least brought up, is that he felt betrayed by them. Not that he betrayed them, but he felt because they left. He felt like they left him behind. They didn't try and take him or anything like that. They just left him. And so it was. I felt it was a lot more interesting for him, especially. And then, like he says, the chip's already been out of me for a long time. I'm already thinking clearly. But the thing is, the way he is as a clone, or him as part of this whole like experimentation with different personalities of perhaps Django, that he is very much in line with the idea of the Empire, the order that to bring to the galaxy and stuff like that, which is kind of maybe some slight old Mandalorian mindsets and stuff, but that's just kind of where he stands, and he's very fervent about it, and he wants them to come back. He still wants his brothers, basically. And so he at least brought in that more interesting dynamic, even though he did try killing them at some points, but it was still interesting to find out and kind of get through some of those last 2 episodes, especially. And
I think Ricker's an interesting character because I think there's a lot of people who,
which character?
His Wrecker.
Oh, Wrecker.
His brain is literally a tube of Pringles. I'm trying to think, like, if you
did I do that as a thumbnail for one of our episodes?
And it was the greatest. I think I told you.
Yes, you told me that, and I was like, okay, I am going with that.
You're like, oh, this is bloody brilliant. I've got to do a thumbnail, and I just tried to figure out like how a tube of Pringles can act as a brain, because it's just what I think. I also think of him also as like, did you ever, when you were a kid, ever like take two Pringle chips and make like a duck's beak?
Yes.
And
I think we all had at some point.
Okay. I didn't know if I was the only one who did it at the age of between 50 and 20. No, I Rucky's just dumb, and I think as irritating,
he's the comic relief. That's the thing. He's just purely comic relief. But he's shown to have some vulnerabilities, right? Like he has a fear of heights and everything, which again, it's more done for kind of shtick than it is for anything of at least a degree of meaning.
He's kind of reminds me of like the Uncle Joey of Full House. Like he's the comic relief, but he's also an idiot, and it's like it's hard. I have a love-hate relationship with him. Like Monday through Friday, I hate the guy. Saturday, he's okay.
He's
and then I go back to hate it. And then I go back to hate him on Sunday through Saturday.
Like when it comes to like Hunter, the only thing I can gravitate towards him
is Bob Saget. He's like the Bob Saget of the trying to raise this.
Yeah, and there's that. There's that. I just see him as like mainly because of his look. It's like, okay, I just see him as kind of like he's the Rambo looking. Yeah. To me, I always think of Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, you've read
Solid Snake. Right. I'm like, okay, he's kind of got that aesthetic, but otherwise, he's just he's just that. He's just the leader of the whole operation.
There's Tech that I don't. I mean, who's the other guy?
Tech and oh god,
he was the guy that he died in Clone Wars, and they brought him back. Was it Fives? It wasn't Fives. Who was it? Where's Dog Yasu? He died, and they brought him back.
Right. He was hooked into like some machine, and then they got him out.
They like responded him. I forget what his name was. I don't think it's Fives.
Well, they gave him a different name when he joined the Bad Batch. So
yeah, but he was originally.
Yeah, I think he was originally Fives, and they all thought he kicked the bucket. Hang on, I'm gonna play quick some.
I'm being factual here. Yeah, Hunter.
Fact checkers, prepare yourself.
Oh, that's Echo.
Echo.
Because he's like the communications guy, basically.
Yeah.
Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Crosshair, and Echo. Yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of the characters, that's definitely where so the Hera episodes I got through, I kind of paid half attention to. They were okay, but it was Filoni bringing in his characters to give them time to shine, and so he could voice Chopper again. And then it was just kind of see. This is part of my problem with some of this is that I feel like the whole thing with the Empire that they're having them accelerate too fast. Like to me, I thought it was more like a slow crushing grip on the galaxy that Palpatine was initiating slowly but surely, and it was hitting the boiling point by time we get to A New Hope. So I feel like a lot of the stuff that they're showing for their whole big bad Empire, it feels too soon. Like they need to, and they're already going full hog, pissing off the galaxy, or at least these certain systems and planets, to do the whole "you're under our control whether you like it or not." And I'm like, I don't concur necessarily. I just feel like it should be a little more stretched out over time. That it was that, like I say, the slow crushing grip. Otherwise, I didn't really. It was just called okay. It was basically like an A-Team episode.
Yeah.
Too. That look it, we happen to be delivering to these guys or getting a delivery from those guys. Hey, it's the Bad Batch crew. And then, hey, we could use your help with something. We've got a problem. Then it's kind of called more of showing off Hera's love for piloting and getting into that, and the fire for the rebellion. So then, what was it after that? After those two episodes, it was the Infested episode, which we got those stupid aliens that pop up later in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. The Dabra things.
But then we get to the episode called War Mantle.
Yes.
And here's where my little comment comes about. And I know I saw I think OG talking about this a little while ago, because like she said, it doesn't fit within continuity. No, nothing of what Disney's going to do is going to fit into any continuity of what we know, but it's going to fit into their own continuity. Well, even that's kind of a stretch, but it's going to fit into the things that they have set up. And to me, this episode was setting up, especially because they had that separate. They were getting ready for a separate clone base. They're bringing in the oh god, what's her name? The cloner from Camino. They're bringing her in, and it's this big mountain base and everything. And who did we know from the EU that had a big mountain base full of clones?
What could it be?
Could it be a certain blue-skinned alien that we're going to be gearing up for? Is this the little hints of that?
Yeah.
So yeah, and this was funny in this episode too. This was where we got a bunch of music cues that was from the original trilogy. I don't know if you remember catching some of those, but they and I don't know all the tracks. I wish I could name them, but I can't. But they are there, and they are just all throughout this episode. And so that's why I said Filoni leans in hard on the nostalgia bait, especially with this episode. So that's what I thought was particularly funny about War Mantle. Is that whole and it was a chance for them to bring in Rex, but I was just like, oh, is that what we're doing? Oh, I see. Because we know Trash Panda Filoni loves to nab anything from the anything from the EU and start fiddle farting around. And I also noticed that the troopers, a lot of their gear, the helmets and stuff like that, kind of reminded me again of some of the old storyboard art.
Yeah, we talked about that I think a little bit last time.
Yeah, so I noticed some of that going on, and but then they also were mentioning how now these are the TK troopers, so they were bringing that into the Filoni's making sure he's getting these references in so he can look like the big gosh darn hero. So yeah, that I thought was that the episode I just was like, all right, whatever. But I just laughed at the music cues and the big mountain base.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was clearly the setup so they could try and, get the whole, they all go back to Camino for the last 2 episodes.
Yeah. Where we find the Bad Batch rescuing, dare I say, Crosshair, or trying to get Crosshair.
It was like a bunch of reluctant, mainly on their part, very reluctant to take his help at any opportunity.
Mega pressing hard to try to, I don't know, turn Crosshair is the right word, or
I guess in this instance, try to see the voice of reason. Basically, would be what they would say. She's trying to be a voice of reason, or just an outsider looking in, trying to give their opinion and to maybe help him see what could be done.
I mean, of course, we have to humanize droids, and
yes, we had more of that, of course.
Droid sacrificing himself for the betterment of the group,
and seeming to have very much a personality. When that droid probably should have been wiped at some point.
Did we not see that in Andor with the B?
Oh,
having a personality, maybe?
Acting very much like either like a senile, person with senility, kind of going through Alzheimer's, kind of acting like a child again, or just acting like a child in general. So you take it however you wish.
We should, call a spade, and I guess we should not be the hypocrite here, because, R2 did have, was very, I don't think R2 ever.
But the thing with R2 was that was due to not being serviced X amount of time.
Right.
Because their owners.
R2 got sad when Anakin told him to stay with.
Well, that's just it. Anakin was the same way as Luke in that he liked the personality of the droid, so he never reprogrammed or anything like that.
Right.
And then C-3PO, that was just how Anakin programmed him.
But I don't think, yeah. I mean, there's a difference between like, don't leave me because I don't want to sleep here by myself, scared.
Yeah.
Versus maybe how R2. I don't know. I mean, there's a distinct difference. It's hard because R2 didn't actually speak English. You're just assuming what he's. I mean, you're relying on
C-3PO is a translator.
Well, yes, C-3PO, but what Luke, the interpretation of like whatever Luke. Because we don't, as the viewers, we don't know what he's saying, but we have to rely on
the interpreters, basically.
Yes. Yeah. So. But again, like,
no, they're certainly going for very leaning a
It
lot
just
more
seems like
heavily
we're
into
just
that.
humanizing. If you're going to spend all this time humanizing droids, then why use droids? Why not just use like a human
Humans,
character?
yeah.
Like, even C-3PO, he said something interesting. He's like, I just can't understand humans.
Right.
Like, he's like, I'm only trying to help. I think it's Empire Strikes Back. He's arguing with Han. I believe it's Empire Strikes Back, but he's like, I just don't understand humans. But then we have droids now that understand humans. So it's just very interesting.
Yeah.
Love to get OG's thoughts on it because I just think it's the whole
it is. There's been
just
those
an emotional the
Yeah.
droid sacrificed himself. Does a droid and whatever, yeah. And then so there's just this back and forth, when you watch these last couple of episodes, you sit there and wonder, like, okay, is Crosshair going to make the jump? Is he finally going to?
Is he going to switch over or anything like that? And I mean, he kind of, and in a weird way, he kind of showed his hand because even those other dark troopers or whatever the hell that was assigned to him, they were questioning his loyalty anyways and distrusting of the clones. So, but we don't know what really got out in terms of that sort of stuff. So he's either going to be able to get back in, no problem, or not. We don't know. And I guess that'll be revealed for season 2, which looks like he has been let back into the Empire, but he's probably on a tight leash sort of thing. And who knows? That might eventually lead to.
I don't even know where this takes place because based off the trailer, I'm like, I can't figure out from where this show ended to where this starts. I don't know how many years have passed.
No,
and hopefully I thought they were on the same island that who's the actor from Castaway? Tom Hanks. What did he play? What character did he play in the show, in the movie, on Castaway?
I don't remember the name of
you
his
do
character.
so know.
The only thing I remember is that he called his
Wilson.
He had Wilson, the volleyball.
All right.
That I remember, but not his character's name. I thought that's what you were asking.
Oh.
But
no,
I don't. It's a big kind of question mark on where that's at.
Yeah. So, I will say that there are. So as a whole, I think that wraps up. I think that ends on Camino and Saber.
Yeah, it ends on Camino. Crosshair had
kind of have to go through the platform. I mean the I don't know what platform because it sinks, right? Like there's an explosion.
The Empire bombards the Kaminoan city. They just lay waste to it because they got everybody out and they're ready to go. Which
was kind of some of these when it's underwater is kind of reminiscent. It kind of reminded me of like when you play a Fallen Order scene where it's underwater and the water's coming in and you're having to escape. I don't know why I thought of it, but so I think overall, I don't know how we want to do it since we've gone. It's like overall, like I will say there's obviously things that I think were good and there are things that were bad.
I felt that they did. I think they did. They ended strong. I'll say the last 3 episodes were good.
These next 2. So we did the Bounty Lost, which again, just the worst because I hate Cad Bane and I hate Fennec Shannon. This showdown was like anticlimactic. It's like
that episode was so dumb because it felt so needless and pointless and.
It's so anticlimactic. It's like imagine eating Taco Bell for 24 hours, right? And then sitting on the toilet and a pebble coming out. That's like the most like you're expecting to blow this thing to Kingdom Come. You expect it like my colon is going to be empty and I'm going to feel great for the next 6 months. And like it's just I thought it was
these
funny.
pipes are clear.
yes, they are cleared, right? But it's just that, and that's anticlimactic. And then I think it was even more so irritating because when we reviewed Book of Boba, and then there was a showdown between Fennec and Cad, and I just thought that was just a dumb. I think
that fight was so
too.
bad too.
But you said something interesting. This happens before that meeting with, because I think I got my timeline mixed up. So this happens before Book of Mando.
Right. This is well before Book of Boba Fett.
This is why this is so, I think, so eerie, because they, tell me if I'm wrong, and I may not be understanding this correctly, but this was their first showdown, and that was their second. But the showdown in Book of Boba made it sound like they hadn't met before, which is why I had such an issue with it.
Yeah,
like y'all fought.
No, it was just the fact that we'd watched Book of Boba Fett.
It's like, yeah, well, it's like Fennec Shand in that episode of Book of Mando was like, it's like there's a difference between knowing of somebody and having a personal relationship with somebody. Like, you fought this guy, but you make it sound like you just knew his name.
Oh,
that's what was so irritating.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I didn't consider that.
I don't think I was able to voice that accurately. 40 last episode. Did. That was my biggest grievance. It's like, you came at
okay, yeah.
It's like, yeah, I know Brian. I mean, of like, I've heard of Brian versus no, I know Brian, and I've battled with Brian, and I know Brian intimately on the battlefield. Even if you've had one encounter, right? So that was my biggest issue with it.
No, that's
but
actually
I
a
had
very
the
good
benefit.
point.
I had the benefit of having watched Bad Batch before we did Book of Boba. So
true.
Which
I hadn't watched it yet.
Right, and that's probably why you thought, oh, you stupid J Hitman. Like, why are you talking about this? Well, that was my biggest issue with it. So
no, that's
But again, to my,
because I also don't remember a lot of Book of Boba Fett other than Power Rangers and whatnot. So
the
Scooter Rangers.
We had the spinner. We had the old Booker T spinneroonie with the gun. It was a combination of Booker T and Daniel Craig James Bond spinning move. We had the Power Ranger scooters. We had the King Kong starter pack.
Yep.
Danny Trejo. Awesome Danny Trejo. Well, he got
one appearance and then that was it.
He gets just the shots and everything he does, man. And it's so sad. I thought this show's about to be really great because Danny Trejo's on board. You know, he made Spy Kids. That's why Spy Kids was good, because Danny Trejo was in it. Everything else about it was well, Danny Trejo, and then you had Antonio Banderas, and we all love Antonio. Puss in Boots, gotta love Puss in Boots. Yeah. So I wonder if Joby Harold wrote some of these episodes, because some of them just don't make sense. And like, so Bounty Lost was terrible. The Last Command was just a filler episode that didn't advance the story. This Sid character is absolutely it is so stupid. And again, somebody's gonna say I'm sexist because, like, well, you don't think there could be female Trandosians? Like, no, I didn't say that, but like, this is literally like Roseanne Barr's version of a Trandosian. Like, she is a terrible, like, it brings a bad name upon all Trandosians. Like, this is what you come up with: a grandma pigeon Trandosian that smokes 5 packs of unfiltered Marlboro Reds a day. this girl who should be a boy, because she's a direct clone of a male, teaching her teaching her that it's okay to gamble, and then using her to make money to line your pockets. Like, yeah, you're like, well, it's just joking, and they're just coming at it. They're just trying to, make it look fun. It's like, be funny. It's like, no, like, yeah, it appears funny, but what at its core, like, you're teaching kids. So, like, one,
no, it does start bringing in some morality questions there.
But it's okay because it's
because
fun.
She helped pay off their debt and everything like that, so they're all square, man. Because even Hunter came in and was like, "What the hell is going on here? What are you doing? Why is she doing this?"
Yeah.
So just because of the reasons, it was okay.
But I guess I should come back and say that like they're teaching really bad morals, but trying to offset it with Hunter saying, why is she doing this? Which is really just asking a question, but doesn't really address. I don't know, man. This could get into it deeper, but yeah, that episode was stupid. Doesn't do anything.
No, it was again kind of another.
It was just a rip
episode.
off. It was a rip off. Very reminiscent and nostalgia bait with when Luke's playing with Chewie on the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, right.
It's not wise to argue with the Wookiee. It's like, yeah, but Wookiees don't rip your arms off when they lose. Or Wookiees, rip your arms off when they lose. So it's like, again, you can make the argument, well, this game is throughout Star Wars a Hitman, so like, it's only fair for it to be in George's original trilogy and not through. I was like, no, that's not necessarily what I'm saying. But it's like, it's again nostalgia bait. When you continuously use nostalgia to gain viewers, it's the same crap, different toilet.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, literally, like no matter what you do, you use nostalgia. Well, I don't agree with your statement, J. Hitman. Okay, well let's look at it. But Mandalorian, or was it Book of Boba, where he got the N1 Starfighter?
That was in Book of Boba, I think.
Was it Book of Boba?
Yeah, it was Book of Boba because he didn't have a ship and he was just kind of he went to Tatooine and
we'll have to rewatch Book of Mando and Book of
No God, no.
That's what we're doing next. We're not doing Bad Batch season 2. No, so it's like, okay, N1 Starfighter, very reminiscent Tatooine, N1 Starfighter, when the N1 Starfighter was a Nabooian ship, not on Tatooine.
Somehow making it to Tatooine.
And it's just ironically that Anakin flew an N1 Starfighter, and Anakin's from Tatooine. And
hey, guess what?
So, number one, right? What other nostalgia have they done? My goodness, let's sit down and just name top 5.
Oh God, I mean,
there's been so many times where you're like member berries, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, I've forgotten a lot of the shows. That's the thing. But I mean, like I said for the episodes, yeah, they had all the music cues going on, the stormtrooper armor and everything. Yeah. I mean, basically just using this setting, any setting of the Camino and stuff like that is its own form of nostalgia bait because it's called, hey, remember the original prequel trilogy. So, take your pick.
Yeah. So, and then the next episode, Hera.
Like I said, for those episodes, Common Ground was before the.
It was Devil's Deed. It was
Bounty Lost, Common Ground, Devil's Deal, Rescue Ryloth. Rescue on Ryloth.
Yes, on Ryloth. And then it was War Mantle, Return to Camino. Made the missing one. I think there was 3 left.
Camino Lost.
Yeah. So again, I think the from Bounty Lost to probably War Mantle doesn't advance the story, in my opinion. Like, I don't know Hera. I'm not familiar with Hera. I don't know. Obviously, it's a made-up character.
No, this is kind of her origin story in a sense.
Yeah.
At least that's how it could be certainly looked at.
Maybe she's a rip-off some other character from EU that I'm not familiar with. Don't know.
I've seen the comparison when, at least certainly referencing her to when she's in Rebels, as her and Kanan basically being another rip-off of Kyle Katarn and Jan Ors.
For sure.
Yeah.
And this Syndulla character, and it just Ryloth makes no sense to me. What, like the senator, freeing the senator or rescuing the senator because the senator's pushing back on the Empire, like that doesn't, in my opinion, advance the story at all. Like, you're just going to Ryloth to basically And then there was what was it, Common Ground or Devil's Deed, where they're supplying the people on Ryloth, the insurgents on Ryloth.
Yeah, that was Devil's Deal. That's like I said, there's kind of this funny intro for the Bad Batch.
And was it just me, or did the kid? I don't know. I don't know if it was like was it Hera? She was the daughter.
She's the
Did
daughter.
she have was she like becoming best friends with Omega? Like it was this like
they were certainly getting chummy. Yeah.
Was this like was it Vel and Cinta level stuff?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe there was when I was watching, I was like, this is
a
little bit more friendlier than just your normal.
No, because like I said, Hera is with Kanan, who's basically a Kyle Katarn ripoff.
I don't know, but
so hey, they say that people experiment in their early days, so
whatever. Anyways,
who knows?
Yeah, so that doesn't advance the story. Crosshairs, obviously, he's in the episode. So you could probably go from before Bounty Law. You could have probably ended this 7 episodes, 6.
Yeah,
maybe 8. Maybe I'd say 8. Like there's a lot. There's multiple episodes that don't, in my opinion, make any sense to advance the story. My whole point.
No,
if you're telling a story, every single detail should matter.
Bounty Lost definitely could have been an episode that we could have just not dealt with at all.
No, because it makes no sense. Because
because she got out by happenstance, and it's like, all right.
And it's like, and this was like, who? And maybe I missed this.
Common ground could have been lost.
Who was Finnick working for? Was it the
Vested could have been lost?
Who was Finnick reporting to at the end of that episode?
The Kaminoan scientist that was trying to get at least Omega protected.
Yeah,
because the politician guy of Camino wanted to basically just bring her back for the blood and everything, and so she was kind of doing a weird protection. Weird way of protecting Omega in a sense.
Yeah. So
hires Fennec to go after her.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's multiple episodes I think they could have cut out. I'm not a storyteller. I'm not a writer. I'm not a director. So far be it. How dare I give my 2 cents in my opinion? But I think if you're telling a story, if you're going to do a show, every single detail should matter, and every single detail
I agree with you.
Should have a purpose, and there's no reason to put filler episodes. There should be no reason to have to put filler episodes in. Like you should be able to like if you look at 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Was there really generally on a consistent scale? Was there anything that George put into that really didn't make any sense? Where you watch the movie and you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense, or why did George do that? Like I know that there's critiques, right, with like Jar Jar, but I'm talking about on a consistent scale, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. Did you ever sit through the did you ever have to like do what you and I do and basically put this puzzle, this dumpster fire of a puzzle together? Or could you watch 4, 5, and 6 and be like, no, that makes sense?
I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to. No, I mean, I've rewatched the original trilogy, especially, and it all felt like it was,
it all flowed, right?
Yeah, it all flowed and was telling the story that it needed to tell.
In my opinion, and I guess
it is thankfully that they probably did cut things like, what was it, Biggs in A New Hope? Didn't really need that, so they cut that. So I know they did trim the fat where they needed to, but I mean that's movie making. So,
but consistently speaking, there was really nothing. Everything flowed and everything makes sense. And you're sitting there, you're like,
I agree,
like why is this character in it, or why are they doing that? Like it, in my opinion, and I guess I know I'm biased because I hate DSW or DFL, whatever you want to call it, Disney Star Wars, Disney Lucasfilm, whatever. But I just, with storytelling, like everything should matter, and you should be able to go from point A to point B to C to D to E to the final thing, and not have to ask questions. Or you can ask questions, be like, "Oh man, that's
you can." Well, that's what's supposed that's what's supposed to be generated from like the fan base and stuff like that. You are supposed to ask a question, go, ooh, what could that mean? What could be brought up with this? Not just like, well, that was just a pointless, silly thing to do. Why did you do that? You didn't need to
He
do
said
that.
I'm his father. Does that mean he's my daddy? Or is he my father? What's the difference? I don't know. So, but this is, and again, it's very, very telling that Filoni worked under George. And I've said this since day one that we've done this show. Like, there is, in my opinion, there is no excuse that you can give Kennedy or Filoni for this atrocity, for everything that they've done, other than the fact that Disney has an agenda.
Yeah.
They have certain goals they want to meet, and there's certain, ideals or ideology or ideology, as I like to say, that they want to push on, and there's an end goal that they have, right? So I don't know. Somebody can make the argument, well, Filoni loves Star Wars and he's just doing his own thing and he's trying to honor George.
In his own
mind,
bizarre little way.
In his mind, he might be, but I would love to sit down and buy George a cup of coffee and literally just ask him, like, no camera, no mic, like, what are your thoughts right now? Like, how are you feeling right now? And just like, we all know, like, we all assume we know, but like,
right.
I just asked, like, George, is DSW going? Are they in line with what you wanted to do?
Well, no, he what was it?
And he said no.
Yeah, he even said that that is not his Star Wars. The 6 movies are his Star Wars.
He said there's nothing outside of 6. He said I think he may have quoted, he said you can adapt it, but the story ended. I watched him. This wasn't a deep fake. This was him and George himself said there's nothing outside of 6. Because the reporter asked, like, could there be a 7? He's like, well, you could adapt the story and create your own. But Star Wars, he said, my Star Wars ended on 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the story of Star Wars. That's coming from him. And I will find the quote. If anybody wants to challenge me or say I'm wrong, I will find the video on Instagram and I will post it on my Twitter. And I'll retweet it to Fractured. He said it himself. So the proof is in the pudding. Here we sat at the dinner table. You can sit there and say 789 is your Star Wars and is your original trilogy. It's not. It is a rip on. It is a rip on what 7 is. 7 is like almost like identical to A New Hope, and with. I mean, it's literally a rip on 4.
It shares a lot of the same story beats. Yeah.
Like, am I crazy? And like, am I getting senile in my older years? Like, do I need to get stop wearing bifocals and
like, that started to become the early comments about that movie, is that this is just retreading old ground.
So, I mean, the argument, because I know we got to stay on task, we got to stay focused here. I know that it's all about Bad Batch, but is Bad Batch not a rip off Delta Squad? Or is it Delta Force? Delta Squad. You brought this up.
It was oh god.
So, in theory, they're really not doing anything new. They're just taking old stuff and adapting it. You brought this up a couple episodes. You brought this up a couple, maybe 10 episodes ago. But we talked about Delta Squad.
No, it's ripped off of Null Squad.
Null Squad. I'm sorry.
Null Squad.
I said Delta. I apologize. I stand corrected. Null Squad.
Yeah.
We did a deep dive through that, and
did.
It may not be the story verbatim, but it's very interesting that how many people are in Bad Batch, and how many people are in Null Squad. And Null Squad were elite commandos, and these guys are supposed to be elite commandos.
Commandos, yeah. I mean, I can see Delta Squad as well as being a source of inspiration.
I always thought Delta Squad because I would just assume that they like to put the knife through Travis's back and just crap on everything she did. So I say Delta Squad. You said Null Squad. It's very uncanny. It's very ironic that there are so many.
Yeah.
There are more similarities than differences with these two. So again, I know there's people who are going to listen and be like, you're crazy, you're stupid, whatever. don't watch the show then. I don't care. I don't care. It's like they're not.
Well, it's called. Well, why are we stupid? What evidence do you have? Bring it. Come on.
And this isn't me complaining. Again, I love OG. This is not me complaining. I'm really not. I'm just saying that there are to say that you're creating something new when it's really just a rip on something else that George did. Then yeah, I'm going to complain about it. I'm going to voice because you're not doing it. It's not even me complaining. It's me arguing against you because you're saying that you've created something new and you haven't. You have rebranded. Right. You basically you've gone in the trash. You went to the trash can that you put Legends in, and you're sifting through it because Dave Filoni loves animals and he's a trash panda. And he's sifting through that trash, and he's coming up with he's grabbing source material, and then he's like, "Man, this is really great.
We're gonna use this.
Why couldn't I come up with that myself? Oh wait,
I just did.
I'm just gonna change the names. So instead of we're going to change Kyle Katarn to Cassian Andor, and we're going to change Jen Urso, or we're going to change Jan Ors to Jen Urso. They're not going to know. This is great.
They won't catch on to that.
George won't mind. George isn't in it. He's going to be proud of me that I'm using his material. Oh, what if we did Bad Batch? What if we did an elite, unaltered group of Republic commandos and have them go against the Empire, or have them fight their inhibitor ship that George never created? That's something I created, but it's okay because George's idea was boring. George had it was an actual, just written into the law. That's boring. Anybody, nobody wants to learn about laws or anything, but we'll do an inhibitor chip because everybody loves chips and Pringles. Oh, Wrecker. That's a great idea. We'll have Wrecker have a Pringle brain. Nobody will know. Well, nobody's gonna know anything about Delta Squad.
I like how you tied that in. I liked how you tied that in.
Well played. And Karen Travis, she's on another island that we sent her to mentally.
Yeah.
She's not gonna, and she's out. She's out. She's not gonna complain about anything because she's not here. And we own everything. So who's gonna fight us? Oh, there's more, and the fans are gonna love it because all the people that probably don't like our stuff, and I don't even understand how people can't, but they're old, they're senile, they're probably at the nursing home.
All the Sarlacc brains will just eat it all up.
Like it's just, yeah. Could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I hear you, man.
Book of Mando, great. We're gonna create the Mandalorian, and then we're gonna crap on the character Boba Fett, and we're gonna dehumanize him and we're gonna basically
deconstruct him,
dehumanize him or whatever. Take his ball sack, put him in our top drawer, and then that's gonna pave the way for our new character, the Mandalorian, Mando. He's gonna take the place of Boba because Boba's just this old washed up man who is all about respect and I'm not going to lead that way, and I'm going to get beat up by a girl, Fennec Shand. And then it's great because we're going to
and then at the end of all of it, it says maybe we're not cut out for this.
Yeah, and nobody's ever going to read that comic where Boba had Vader kind of shaking in his boots. Nobody will read that one. If anything, they'll read our comic where Vader was carrying to Padme's handmaiden. This is great.
Oh God.
Yep. Fennec Shan's gonna be great, and we're gonna have her get shot in the stomach, but we're gonna have her take her to a parlor mod, and we're gonna give her electrical innards, and she's gonna be able to move boulders. She's gonna be able to move heavier boulders than Eddie Hall, world's strongest man.
Yep. She's the boulder queen.
Cassian Andor is gonna take the place of Kyle Katarn, because nobody's dumb enough to play Jedi Outcast or know anything about Cassian. Nobody knows who originally stole the Death Star plans. Mon Mothma never said it in the movie. All she gave credit to was Bothan spies.
And that wasn't until the third movie.
And that was the third. That was the third movie. And I think she was referencing the other Death Star, the second Death Star. I don't believe she was referencing the first one, because if she had, that would go against canon. And George Lucas did those movies, so I believe that the original Death Star plans.
Yeah, I was so proud of my thumbnail. This one.
Yes.
When I played Dark Forces in place of Saturday Night Sith, because
it just very well. But yeah, but that's the thing. People will say, well, yeah, nobody really knows who stole the Death Star plans, and Mothma didn't say. Mothma said it was the Bothans. Mothma was talking about the second Death Star. Am I not correct?
What's that?
When Mothma said a lot of Bothans went.
Died to get this information
was the second
to them.
Death Star. That wasn't the first one. We know who stole the first one. The first Death Star plans. But again,
yes, indeed.
Like the whole story of Andor is like, well, nobody would be stupid enough to ask that question, so we don't have to explain it. It's like nobody would be stupid enough to steal from the Empire, so we're only going to leave a garrison of 40 troopers. It's just and Bad Batch 2. Have no idea where I was watching that trailer. I was waiting to see Wilson just pop out over the mountain. Where are they at? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I'm strongly considering just vetoing doing Bad Batch 2 and just jumping to something else.
Wait, what?
I said I'm thinking about vetoing Bad Batch 2 and just doing Star Wars holiday or summer vacation.
I don't know. It could be worth some good material. Who knows?
Well, could be, but like, you got Ahsoka, Mando season 3. That's gonna be great. I mean, where does how are they get I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, those other shows don't come till later, so
I don't know when they start. I haven't looked, but so it's just
Well,
such a better. I mean, I think it's just the most frustrating thing is that you have the potential to do so much more. You have the potential to be really, really good, and for whatever reason,
you choose not to be.
Choose not to be because
you're a bunch of clowns.
You've got to push your agenda, and you have to. I don't know. I think they honestly think in their heads that whatever they put out is going to be really, really good. But the argument that I'd make against that is, I think they knew Book of Boba was bad.
Yeah,
I think they didn't realize it until they actually started it, and they realized, man, this is bad. And then that's what that brought in Mando. I don't think they're smart enough to have planned on bringing Mando, and I think they thought they had really, really good stuff in their head. And then when, we all love Reddit, and, people on Reddit are ruthless, maybe not Reddit, but they're getting a lot of backlash on it. And they're like, man, we got to do something, man. We got to do something to unbury us from this. So what do? Bring in the cash cow, bring in the one good thing that they've done. I will say that there are some good things about Mando, like graphic wise, like scenery. There's some stuff there that is decent.
Right. Yeah, the effects are fine.
I will bet that's still not saying a lot, because I'm comparing that to what we've seen so far with everything they brought out. So don't get excited like, oh, Jay Hitman gave them a compliment. Compare that compliment to what we've seen. The bar's not very high.
Well, I always then compare that to then, to me it's now, and I don't want to diminish their work, because they do work hard to.
I will.
But in a sense, nowadays it's really easy to make things look pretty thanks to digital effects.
But their digital effects are garbage compared to what George did.
I agree, but this is the thing. It's like video games. It's really easy for them to put together a very nice presentation, but when you fall short with your story and gameplay and stuff like that in terms of gaming, then you got it doesn't matter how pretty it freaking is. You still got a shit game.
Well, I can tell you this, I watched Black Adam the other night.
Oh, did you?
And yeah, I said this, I was talking at work last night with some of the guys, but I was like, how is it that somebody was saying like they're going to go see the new Avatar, and I heard the new Avatar is just atrocious. Like
I've heard a mixed bag of things. There's been some people that have liked the story aspect to it because it's very much about a father protecting his family, apparently.
But the graphics are absolutely just CGI is just the worst.
I've heard the opposite. I've heard that the CGI is really stunning, but it didn't need to be 3 hours freaking long.
Yeah. Well, so yeah.
That's just what I've heard, at least.
We should go watch it. But I've heard mixed things about Avatar. But with Black Adam though specifically, like some of the graphics are absolutely terrible. Like Dr. Fate looks like some AI character. Like,
oh really?
Very, very bad. Like, and it just blows my mind that again, 20 plus years ago, we had better graphics from Attack of the Clones than we do. We had better graphics in 2025, or I'm sorry, 2005 when Revenge of the Sith was 2005. Attack of the Clones was 2000. What was it? I know Revenge of the Sith was 2005. Attack of the Clones was, what was it? 2000. Help me out here.
2002.
2002. I wanted to say I knew it was around 2000 mark, but how we had better graphics then in CGI then than we do now. It absolutely
because again that was still also while they did use heavy green screen whatever, there was still, I mean, again, for one, passion in the project, but also there was still practicality for some of the effects too. They did have some of the actual droids set up, some of the actual sets set up. They had some of that going on.
Then it just comes down to like, are you going to spend money to make money? Some of these movies, their budgets are insane, and you're telling me that like George did it better. Like you have to come up with you need to try harder and come up with a better argument.
And it's again somebody with a consistent vision that wants to see something. While this is like they say, too many cooks in the kitchen.
It's like, what was so let's just do a quick. I think this would be a fun exercise because we still have some time here. So what was the budget for, let's say, Attack of the Clones? What did George have? What was his budget?
I don't know his budget, considering this was pretty much him acting independently.
But I'm just curious. What was the budget for? You're probably going to type it soon, faster than I will.
Let's see, budget.
Because you and your 6 different screens and me and my 1.
All this is going to show me is what it made, I think, but 115 million was the budget.
115 million.
Yeah, that's not for inflation or anything like that.
So. What do you think? Just look up Avatar.
The first one?
No, I don't want to do that. It's probably not fair. Do a movie where. Pick a movie that people thought was going to be really, really good and just dog water. But DC doesn't have a lot of money. That might not be. They have a lot of money,
and they keep shooting themselves in the foot as of late.
Well, because they hired James Gunn, which is absolutely James Gunn needs to go. If that CEO wants to do his job, he needs to fire James Gunn and reactivate Henry Cavill and.
Dude, I heard him, and I'm not, I haven't seen a lot of Cavill's work. I get everybody. There's either the women that fawn over him, and then there's even the nerds that, also to a degree, just because he's a gamer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like they dicked him around.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to bury him like crazy. Like there's been this little thing that floated around from the Witcher crew about him, and they're just trying to do all, and then it's like they're like, oh, we're bringing back Henry Cavill's Superman, and then next thing we get here from James Gunn, actually no, he's fired. It's like, what the freak? But now it's like, who cares? Cavill probably doesn't care now because now he's off doing a Warhammer project.
Yeah, James Gunn is an absolute idiot. But
this is the thing. Like they had somebody that was basically the image for today, at least, for you to find the actor, the image of a Superman. Like he looked like Superman. Like if at least that was certainly I was like, oh yeah, I can see why they picked him.
Yeah.
He's the image of it.
James Gunn
but they've
wants to do
just
something.
squandered him too. They just haven't used him to his full effect, and it's just like, dude, you guys have
It's
dropped
not
the
a smart
ball
move.
hard.
Yeah, it's not a smart move on James Gunn. Like I shouldn't call him a bit. I really shouldn't call him an idiot, but he is not smart with his decision because he wants to do a younger role. This is just this stupid generation.
He wants to basically do his own universe thing. He was trying to set up the new DC universe, basically. So I guess, except for some movies are still going to be coming out anyways. I don't know. It's so freaking weird.
I don't know, man. But anyway, so I mean, go on a tangent with that. But he needs to. And I'm not saying like there is a cult when it comes to Zack Snyder.
The Snyder, yeah.
There is a cult. I get it, right? I mean, there's.
Like I understand being passionate and wanting to see these things and stuff, just let the guy if anything, they should have just let him try and put together this universe and see where we got. I mean, I still think they jumped the shark a lot of times, trying to get to basically Avengers tier stuff before establishing characters.
Here's the thing: I will never how do I want to say this? It's very hard for me to give Marvel credit because I think Marvel's just atrocious. It's stuck on every level.
You're not a fan.
Not a fan, but when it comes to their movie, like they've done the movie game good.
Well, they set things up just right
to try to for DC to try to get on that level. It's like you can't. Like I love DC. I will always love DC till the day that I die. But you'll never like. They are very good at the TV show route. They're not good at movies.
Well, right? I'd say they're very good at the animated route. Like usually their animated movies are considered top notch.
It's considered essential, right? But
yeah,
I think they brought Gunn in, and I think this new CEO wanted to compete with Marvel. So why not bring the guy himself who worked for Marvel, which I think should be considered a sin, but in the comic, but that's the comic book game though too, because there's people who write for Marvel who write for DC. That's just how the comic book industry works.
Oh yeah, there's been artists and stuff that have worked for both companies at different times. So and writers they've all kind of jumped the old fence every now and then between the two.
But yeah, I don't even know where I was going with this. The point I was trying to make is that just Filoni's just terrible. He just sucks. He's the worst. No, just how again you.
Well, we were talking about budget and how things look and stuff like that. So
I don't worship idols, and George isn't an idol. I don't look at him.
No, neither do I.
I look at George as somebody who was very, very good at what he did, and he had a passion for what he did. And so my intention is never to put him on a pedestal, but I do look at what he did compared to what they're doing, and it was his company that he did start this. It was his vision. He was the curator of all of it. And to see what they've done with it, it's so crazy disrespectful. And even if your intention is not to disrespect it, it still is. But also there's no excuse. Like, I don't understand why we're getting the stuff that we get. Like I mentally can't comprehend the fact that how can we have something that was released in 2002 and 2005 and even I would argue 1977 that is better than what we are seeing today. This is it's not been the 50th. We've hit the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. I don't know if we haven't hit 50 years yet. I think we're still between 40 and 50, right?
I think so.
How is it that I think it's I don't know, go on all night. How is it better for me? We'll leave the original trilogy out because that was not that wasn't CGI. That was all, for the most part, it was all if not all was actual animatronics, right?
Right.
So we'll just prequels, right? How is it that they're better graphically than what we're seeing today? Like, I do not get it. And
well, I think it boils down to what we've already talked about. Passion.
I know. It's just a hill that I won't get off.
These people are doing nothing but taking a job. And that's all this is to them, is a job. This is not somebody that's really enthusiastic about, getting behind the creator for the story and stuff like that. No, this is just
I say
a job for a product that they are pumping out.
Dare I say, and I don't think there's anybody who, I could be wrong, but I'd be hard pressed to believe that there'd be anybody that worked for George that would come back and work for Disney, because they've botched everything. But dare I say this, if they, I don't know, maybe hired competent people that knew how to do their job, people not like Joby Harold, who did not know that Obi-Wan knew that Vader was Anakin. Very obvious clue. Anyways, dare I say that they hired people that actually were adequate and qualified to do the job.
Right.
They may not have to go to an ad service,
right?
Disney Plus, because people would want to watch their stuff. Like, this is the thing, man. I grew up watching Disney movies. My grandma, she bought all the grandkids the VHS. I grew up watching Disney. I haven't hated. I didn't always hate Disney, right? Like, I have fond memories of watching Disney and doing all that. But it's the stuff that I don't know. It's just a hard topic, because it's like,
yeah,
they've destroyed, or they're destroying everything that I've loved about Star Wars. Like, Star Wars is, for you, for me, I think is much more than movies. Like, it's been that escapism that help get you through really hard days and time, like whatever it is, like going to school, being bullied, coming home, watching Star Wars. Like, man, I wish I could force choke that kid. Like, they like, maybe that's exaggeration, but like, just watching them destroy, I think something that George worked so hard for.
Right.
And even in the way that they, like, you remember all those years ago when we were talking about doing this show, I told you that my theory was that, like, Disney literally held the gun up to his head and made him sell it.
Yeah, we've joked about that. Yeah.
I literally believe that was the case. I believe that they somehow forced him to sell and
sell it to us or else, old man.
Right. And now, he's watching everything, and he's moved on, because he's got in his 80s, and he's got kids and grandkids and all that. So he may not be worried about it, but I still like to think, like, it's got to loom in the back of your head. Something
I'm sure. I know it would for me. It would be like,
I'd
God.
be so. But it's like they're not even thinking about that. They don't even care. And they never will. And you and I we will waste air talking about the fact that they don't care, and how we don't understand how somebody couldn't care. But, like, everything they pump out is dog water. Yeah, and that sucks, because I have not seen a good Star Wars movie since Revenge of the Sith.
Well, and it's
Rogue One.
That's what we've
3 minutes and 32 seconds of. It wasn't even 3 minutes. It was probably a minute and 45 seconds.
Well, that's what we've talked. It's what we've talked about before. We don't want to hate this. We want to get behind it and enjoy it, but they're giving us every reason not to. And that's the problem.
Yeah. When they released Book of Mando, I thought, man, like, bro, they could do this really good. They could take the freaking Bounty War series books that I saw, like the book with Dengar. They could have taken Boba. I mean, again, like, you've said this multiple times. They had the blueprint. They had the
blueprints were all there for them. All they had to do was adapt it properly.
They have and had the blueprint. The blueprints that they have are the same ones that they threw into the trash when they deemed canon legends. So you could have done an amazing story with Boba. You didn't even have to do Mando. You could have done so much more with Book of Mando. I truly believe you could have, if you had taken the books. You don't have to follow the books 100%. But take canon, take the books, adapt the books to, and stay true to canon. You could have had you could have had a gold mine. These kids today probably wouldn't have liked it because I don't think these kids today know how to read, let alone draw pictures. They probably know how to draw pictures and sign their name. That's about it. You could have done more. Kenobi, again, this is it's like let old dogs lie, right? But it's like Kenobi. You could have done so much with Kenobi, and you could actually sit there. Ewan McGregor could have actually sat there and said what he said and had it be true. This isn't, and again, like, I don't think what I'm saying, I guess it could be deemed subjective, but like, I don't really think it's subjective because there are people who hate Kenobi. So when he says it's much liked and hugely watched, like,
well, that's just doing some self-promoing, right?
For sure. But I'm saying, like, he could have sat up there and he could have actually said, like, it is much liked and it is hugely watched, and it would be verifiable because, like, it would actually mean something because, like, it is liked.
Yeah.
Now, again, the counter argument to that is like, well, some people like it. Well, no, you're true. Like, that's right. Like, some people do. But I beg the question, like, why do you like it? Like, you could have done so much more.
Please, you could tell me why. Why?
Yeah, I get a better thing would be like, it is a show that has been received well on both sides and follows canon to a T. That would be, I think, a little bit more of a truer statement than much liked and hugely watched.
Right.
I don't have an excuse for Ahsoka because Ahsoka's not a character within
canon. Not even out
yet. Well, and she's just not a character within canon. So, like, I don't know what to I can't really say through that. You know, Mando, if you'd done Boba right, would never have had it done Mando. Bad Batch, you could have adapted Null Squad or Delta Squad, and, you know, dare I say, maybe remastered Republic Commando and simultaneously released Bad Batch with and relaunched Republic Commando with maybe some mods or an extended story or something like that. Like, dare I say, I don't know.
Think they did one for.
You could have done a show not called Andor, but maybe Katarn.
Or Dark Forces.
You call it Dark Forces. Whatever you want to do. You own the IP. Like, dare I say, you could have done a story.
They could have done anything other than what they released.
And that's just what I'm saying. You could have taken where you could have gone before Jedi Outcast. What a great opportunity to I don't know, do a story that predates Jedi Outcast and then re-release Jedi Outcast. Revamp it or do what do you call it? Remaster it? Is that or you don't touch it, but you just
upgrade the graphics and the textures.
Do a story that predates Jedi Outcast because everybody, I don't know, it's subjective, but there's a lot of us who love Jedi Outcast. So if you had done a story, I would love to have known the story prior to Jedi Outcast. I'm still trying to do my part in learning the EU, like Alora and Tim and even yourself. Like, I'm trying to get more knowledgeable about that. But like, I would have loved to know what happens before Jedi Outcast. I wasn't ever able to play Dark Forces because I didn't have the game, I didn't have a computer at the time. Or I just didn't have the game. Or I just didn't know about it. Honestly, I don't think I knew about Dark Forces. Dark Forces, not Dark Horses, sorry. I would have loved to have known what that story looks like.
Yep.
So, I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know. You could have had so much more in.
That's the problem. They could have had. It was all there.
So it's like, where do we go from here? Bad Batch 2. Like, what is this even going to be about? Like, it's bad when I want to watch Star Wars Lego Summer Vacation
instead of what we're going to be walking into.
Instead of Bad Batch. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe for the first time since 2000. When did they sell? 2013, 12, 13, 8
for Bad Batch?
No. When did Lucas sell?
Oh, 2014.
Was it 14?
15?
Yes, 14. 2014. So maybe since 2014, I'll see something good. Maybe what we'll do is maybe we'll hold off on Bad Batch season 2 and we'll go through the Clone Wars.
Well, like I said, the whole the Bad Batch season 1 and stuff, is probably one of the better things that Disney's put out. But that's not a high bar anyways, considering how low they lowered it.
It's literally like an inch off the ground.
Yeah.
It's literally the ground, and like this is the piece of cardboard that's on the ground. I mean, it's not saying a lot. So I don't know. I'm up for whatever, man. Like, I think Bad Batch is going to be probably equally bad, if not worse, than Bad Batch 1. So do we watch it or do we go to Clone Wars? It doesn't really make sense to go to Clone Wars since Bad Batch takes
I really don't want to watch Clone Wars.
That would be so long because that's 7 seasons. We'd be doing this.
That would be.
How many episodes would you do this for? We'd have to do a season a month.
Oh God,
I don't even know how you would do that. That's a commitment. I forgot there's 8 seasons. Is there 8? There's 8.
I thought there was 7.
There might be 7. I don't know. That's oof. If the only way that we could do that is if we just did
7 seasons.
7. Okay. The only way that we could do that is if we just watched it and didn't take our normal notes. We just like this pros cons.
Yeah, just do like you said. Just do like an episode.
Yeah.
Do like a.
Then that wouldn't be bad.
Watch them over a period of a month, and then at the end of the month, we would report in for the episodes.
That wouldn't be too bad if we didn't do normal notes. Which honestly, like, I kind of like just watching it and just taking cliff notes.
Right.
When it's really bad, when something's really, really bad. But if it's something that like I have to analytically dissect, like Andor.
Well, and which like each season's like 22 episodes and stuff, so it's like, ugh.
Yeah,
no, thanks.
That's a commitment that I'm not wanting to commit to. I mean, we're not.
But for now, we'll just stick to seeing what Bad Batch season 2 brings us.
Oh man, you did Lego Star Wars on vacation. But so I don't know. How would you rate it? I mean, we're almost at the 2-hour mark. How would you rate? What would you give it?
Bad Batch season 1.
Yeah. And again, it's hard because we took a break. I know, but like, what would you rate it? And if you give it anything above a 5, I'm gonna slap you through this computer. You're gonna see my hand come through screen.
Oh shit!
You're gonna see my hand come over to your avatar.
Well, hey! Remember, this is from a perspective of the content that we've received from Disney. So, going off of that,
you're gonna give it a 5.2, aren't you?
I was probably gonna give it about a 6.
Round number rookie score. Are you really gonna give it a 6?
Because like I said, the unfortunate thing is Filoni's competent to the most part of some of the storytelling that he does, despite it being a ripoff of the Null arc and stuff like that, and probably Delta Squad greatly too. Otherwise, it like I said, the one character I did find most interesting was Crosshair. I did like his character. I thought he was interesting. He brought a certain dynamic to the whole thing that I liked. The one odd man out basically of the original crew that knew a lot of their style of combat, so it kind of gave him a slight edge at times. But I thought at least he was the standout for sure, while everything else was very meh. That's why I'd probably bring it down to about a 6.
Need I remind you that you gave Book of Boba, I think, a 2.4.
Yeah, because that was hot garbage.
This is better than Book of Mando?
Yeah, easy.
Okay.
Hey,
I
just telling it like it is.
I will say on air that I respect your answer. I'll probably go with
disagree.
I'm not. Absolutely, I'm not. I can't give it a 6. Like it's just too many. No. I think the just based off the whole kerfuffle confusion between is Omega a boy, is Omega a girl, is Omega a true clone of Jango. Like I'd say like a 4.6.
Wow. Ouch.
Can't
Yeah,
go
I mean,
5.
I
here, but here's the thing. I'm not, like, again, I'm not a film major. I'm not a director. I'm not not any of that. But like, it's just there's too many ups and downs, and like there's too many episodes that are like it doesn't make any sense, and like I don't know.
Well, like I said, I do still find it very, like I said earlier, jarring that we are basically, instead of the slow grip of the Empire, it's a full on like thrusted kick to the balls to any of these planets. I think should be a slow burn, but
I don't know. 4-6. I can't change the score, man. I gotta be like Dave Portnoy. I can't change the score. Once I give it, once we give it, it's given. 4-6. 4-6. You say 6-0?
I'd say a 6 because some of it was even though there were some stupid goddamn episodes for sure.
What do you give Rebels?
I haven't watched that in a long time, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay, well, maybe one of these days we'll go review the Space Wolves, but yeah, 4-6, man. there's too many for me. Too many filler episodes. There's too many, the story arc's just not great. Like, yeah, I do agree. Crosshair is probably the most interesting character just from a dynamic standpoint.
Yeah,
but it just doesn't flow. It doesn't make, like, I hate Sid. I hate Cad Bane. Like every character in this show outside of probably Crosshair, and even I'd even say Tarkin, but I don't even think they portrayed.
They
Tarkin
used him very early on, and then they got rid of him after
they got rid of him.
And I don't even think
I don't even think they portrayed him very well. So, like, if anything, my favorite character would have been Tarkin, but I don't think they did him any justice. I think So I think
now I'm starting to remember some of the other episodes.
But by default, probably
maybe
interesting. You can change it if you want to give it. If you want to give it a 5.2, I'll let you change it.
I might drop it down to a 4
from a 6 because now you're remembering the earlier episodes.
Because I'm remembering some of the earlier episodes, and I'm remembering how goofy it was with the whole thing with Kanan.
You're talking about Rebels?
Well, no. I'm talking about this Bad Batch and how they brought him and how they retconned his own story within their own continuity. I'm remembering that. So that's why I'm taking off.
They didn't retcon it. They used World Between Worlds.
No, they retconned it.
Well, they didn't because he went through the door.
And then, like, again, they just had to bring in Saw Gerrera that was already fighting the Empire as soon as the Empire took shape. It's like, what the freak? What? Yeah, you're kind of making me remember some stuff. Okay. Yeah, I think I bring it down to a 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, first time that we'll alter our score. I'm keeping it. What did I keep it? 4-6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm going with that.
Yeah. So, yeah, just not very good.
No, like they tried to start strong, but again, it's like as soon as the Empire was named a thing, it was called we're already basically locking everything down, and I'm just like,
it was like, they basically took control of the galaxy weeks after Order 66.
Yeah.
Which,
so I'm bringing it down.
I personally think she would probably have liked to take the route of like a slow burn to really let it,
Yeah, that was
people know that, like, hey, he could have probably done it within a shorter time, but what would be the benefit of that?
Right. Well, you don't want to piss off the galaxy and suddenly have to fight another goddamn war after.
No, because he was still having to play the game. He wasn't like the Senate wasn't like he didn't have the Senate on strings at that point in time yet. He still had to dissolve. I mean, it wasn't.
Like they were sure they were behind him, but
but it wasn't until A New Hope where what did Tarkin say? He's like the Senate.
He's completely disbanded the Senate or whatever.
So Took a little bit of time.
Yeah, he had to work up to it.
Yeah. He didn't want to piss off Padme or Organa yet. So
No, he had to work up to it, man. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. Well, we missed our special guest. We were supposed to have a special guest today.
Oh, were we?
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Put
it in the private chat.
Oh. Yeah, I'll put it in private chat here. Give me a second.
Can you say what happened?
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. I know you kind of mentioned some. He didn't ask.
He was told. He was told he was supposed to do this, and he didn't. He didn't show up. So
I wasn't aware.
We'll try to get him on.
I would have passed on the link.
We'll try to get him on, maybe.
But he hadn't watched Bad Batch, so I didn't.
Doesn't matter.
I didn't subject him to it.
Doesn't matter. He's knowledgeable enough. So maybe we'll get him on. I don't know. Maybe when do we got to figure out when we're going, because I'm unavailable next weekend.
Right, I know.
So we need to figure out when.
So I was actually going to ask you about that. I'm going to guess you're going to be out of town on the 25th, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to be. So the 24, 25. 24, 25 will be not here. Well, I'll be at work and then not here. And then I still got to figure out the 31st. I don't know if he's got me working, if I'm working on the 31st or not.
Okay.
I don't think so. We might be on for the.
I will be back for the 31st.
We may be back the 31st. I need to check my schedule. I don't know.
And how about tomorrow for Shenanigans? Are we up for Shenanigans tomorrow?
Probably going to be a replay of last night, so I'll play it close to that. I'll let you know.
Okay.
But if it snows again, which I think someone said it's gonna snow. If it snows, I'm staying inside. I'm not doing anything. I'm ordering everything off Amazon if that's the case. Everybody's getting an Amazon gift card.
Well, sometimes that's just the easier route to go. They can buy their own gifts.
Yeah, Amazon can take my money. I'm curious. We got to lock this down though, so I'll have to check for the 31st. I don't think I am, but I can't remember. Let's see here.
Well, we'll be keeping the word out.
Where are we going to tomorrow though? If I am on, where are we at?
For Shenanigans?
Uh-huh.
We're on Terrace.
Oh, that's right.
We're still getting through Terrace.
I don't know. I'm also I may not show up just because Mr. Insect was showing off his Rancor. And that irritated me. So, I don't know.
Well, you might. Even so, you might still want to show up.
Anybody who's wondering, Mr. Insect, he's got a Rancor. All I want is a bloody Rancor. That's all I want. I either want a Rancor and an Ewok, and nobody seemed to have been able to help me get either or. So I won't get a Rancor, but Mr. Insect, who has been playing SOTOR for 25 years, has a Rancor. He has many things. He has a throne, chair. You'll know that he likes to.
Sunday Night Shenanigans.
Sunday Night Shenanigans. You could go to Fractured Filter, check the links, but he likes to prod the. I don't know what you say. He likes to poke the bear, if you will.
He does
likes
indeed.
to run away. Everybody likes to run away from me when I'm talking to them, and it irritates me. But I don't think I've always embarrassing moment. Last week we were playing, and I thought I was following Mr. Insect because I thought he had a Rancor. I think he had a new mount that I was trying to figure out what it was, and he kept running away. And literally 3 minutes
somebody else
following this guy, Fractured says, "Where are you going? What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm following Mr. Insect. He's got a new mount he's not showing me." He's like, "We're over here." And for a minute and 45 seconds, I was following some other guy.
Individual
that probably didn't know I was following him. But embarrassing moment. So shout out to Mr. Insect. You're still a shyster. Love you. Don't stop pulling out your Rancor.
Indeed.
It's not as embarrassing though as when I accidentally like fell off the cliff.
When you're trying to jump up top and not do that.
Whatever you made a short out of it. Like
I did.
And then Mr. Insect was like, he's like, "Yep, I just watched that." I think he said, "Did he?" That one where he was like, all I remember is like, I don't know what I was doing, but I jumped off and I didn't mean to. And you said something, and Mr. Insect was like, "Yep, I just saw that. I just watched that."
Hang on.
Do you have it?
It's still on my Twitch page, yes.
It's great. I don't know what I was doing. I like to do my own. I'm like a peacock. I like to do my own things. But it was absolutely hilarious because I didn't know that you had made it a short until I watched it.
Yeah, here we. Oh wait, hang on. Let me make sure.
Was that it?
Audio.
Oh, audio.
Yeah, I want to make sure. Okay, good. There we go. Okay. Turn on. Boom. When you get instead of just like trying to slap something out like the Star Wars experience and crap, but when you have don't. I'm sorry, it's true though. It's like
I just got back from how do I get back up there? I forget what Mr. Insect said, but he's like, "Yeah, I just saw that."
Yeah, I just watched that.
It's great because I did not. I was like impromptu, like I was not intentionally. Like,
no, you were fully playing, and we were just locked into conversation, and you just went full off. And then here's the other one.
No, what I was doing, but from that angle, I just jumped.
You just walked right off the cliff. It was hilarious.
I don't know what I was doing, but I was like, "That's funny." I was just like, do, and I was like over here, and I was like, "Woo." Oh, see, you thought I was gonna do
it. And he did it. All right.
I forgot that one. I was fully. I did not to do it. I was just messing around.
Yeah, you.
W.
That was cool. We have fun.
Oh man, I forgot about that one too because I was like, wait, you thought I jumped in? Oh,
yep.
See,
that's why people tune into Shenanigans every Sunday night.
If you're not
when we can.
If you're not enjoying Shenanigans, I don't know what you're doing on Sundays. So that was fun. That second one, that was funny. I remember. I was like, see, you thought I was trying to jump, and then then I fell. I was like, damn it. So
yep. All right. So we've got that for the most part planned out. Hopefully I might put together some streams for next week. For Saturday, Sunday. I don't know yet. Still trying to decide.
You're working early morning. You'll be there. You're working Saturday though, yeah. We'll talk.
Yeah, I'm working.
That.
Yeah. So yeah. So I'll figure something out. And just kind of
are they doing a 2-episode premiere?
Yes, it's a 2-episode premiere.
When it's coming up
on the 4th, yeah. January 4th. Yep. So that's what's happening, brother.
You know what's funny, and we'll end it on this, but it seems like just Disney in itself, it doesn't matter if it's Star Wars or whatever, like they are going to two premieres.
Yeah, seems
There's
like
a show on Disney Star, that's two episode premiere. So I don't know what it is. I don't understand it. But I thought it was just a Star Wars thing. Nope. Whatever Disney releases, it's 2 episode. Don't know why. I would have loved it if they had done a 2-episode premiere of I don't know, some show that was actually good.
Yeah, waiting for that.
Yeah. So, okay.
All right.
Well, that's all I got. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so everyone hit us up in all those places that we got in the description below and all that good stuff.
If you want more shenanigans, join.
You can catch the replays. I'll repost them always on YouTube, Rumble, and places like that. So check them out there. They're all up there pretty much, except for episode 10. I just have not been able to properly get converted. It's been pissing me off. So I've just kind of abandoned it. Otherwise, all the other ones are up and full of shenanigans because we certainly get up to it. And Jay Hitman is a great source of it.
Well, I do what I can.
Absolutely. Anyways, good night, everybody.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Yeah, I should have known from the very beginning. From what you said. Yeah, when the mega powers were formed. Yeah, what you were out for from the very beginning. Yeah, you were after what was mine. I remember what you said.
You can destroy the Emperor. Join me. Together, we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Yeah, that one was rough. Those words right there. Yeah, I got stuck, yeah, but I swallowed it anyway. Didn't like the taste, but I swallowed it anyway, yeah. But I remember the time when there was a conquistador out of the ring, the one that's so jealous that he can't stand it, yeah. Yeah, you came in there with your poses, yeah, but you made a big idiot out of yourself, yeah. And speaking of idiot things, what about that stupid idea? Did you forget that one? Think back. That right there sealed your fate. Yeah, that put the madness over the edge. But I'll tell you what felt even better, yeah, was in the dressing room, in the first aid room. Me being unselfish, yeah, said go ahead, do the thing, yeah. You won't steal my thunder, no. When you take a look at the madness's eyes, all you're gonna see is complete and utter brain.